Thank you for stopping by once again, my movie peeps. Let me give you the movie news. Some of the things we'll be discussing here today, guys, is we got our first full-length trailer for the Naked Gun reboot. We got some just awfully sad news for Transformer 1 fans. And James Gunn, once again, revealing so many details about his DCU and how his biggest struggle with Batman could lead to Robert Pattinson joining the universe. Oh yeah, we back on that train, baby. We're gonna be talking about that along with so much more, so you guys know the drill. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Timestamps in the description. And as a real quick shameless plug, your boy finally made it onto the escape pod. It was finally nice to hang out and talk with those guys, and if you want to see how socially awkward I am, definitely watch that. But without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump to our first movie news story. So starting off here, we have here the first full official trailer for the Naked Gun, not just the teaser. You guys know I've been highly anticipating this, and it feels like parody movies are making a huge comeback with Scary Movie 6 around the corner. They just announced Spaceballs 2, and Naked Gun is at the top of my most anticipated list for parody films. And so it kind of hurts me to admit a little bit, I wasn't laughing all that hard during this trailer. I don't know what it is, because I have the utmost faith that Seth MacFarlane and director Akiva Schaffer are gonna knock this out of the park and make it one of the funniest films I've ever seen. But there was very few jokes in this trailer that were actually landing for me. Like, here's a couple ones that actually got me.
Please, take a chair.
Thank you.
Says you served 20 years for man's laughter.
You mean manslaughter?
Must have been quite the joke.
Honestly, I think it's just Liam Neeson. I think he is a great actor, and I think he does have some comedic chops in him, but he is no Leslie Nielsen. He was just the kind of guy that no matter what he did, even if it was the most unfunny joke, it would then become funny because it was Leslie Nielsen. That's the kind of funny aura he gave off, and I guess I'm just not getting that here. Still fully excited for the movie, and I mean, that Spirit Halloween gag was pretty good, but it was small chuckles all throughout the trailer. Maybe when watching the movie, they'll end up feeling a lot funnier to me, but maybe I'm the only one. You guys let me know. What did you think of the Naked Gun reboot trailer? Next up, we got our first official look at some He-Man back shots. I'm clapping for the He-Man back shots. Nicholas Gladstein poses, and thanks to someone on the 3C subreddit, they use their computer hacking skills to brighten up the image so that we can see him in his full color, and I like it. Dude's muscled up. The costume is very accurate to the cartoon, which is still the part that surprises me the most. I really thought when they announced this thing that they would like MCUify all the costumes. No way they're just gonna have a big old buff dude with his nipples out, but nipples are out, and I like them. Although I'm not someone that grew up watching the He-Man cartoon, I know a lot of older people did, and they've been waiting just for a newer live-action adaptation with all our modern effects. With Travis Knight, the director, and everything we've been hearing from CinemaCon and interviews is that they're really going to be embracing the colorful, vibrant, and weird world. And with how much I've been loving Superman doing that with all the previews, I want more vibrant, weird, blockbuster movies in theaters. Still not loving it's going to do the cliche plot trope of guy from the real world who has to jump into the He-Man world, but maybe it'll end up being the best version of that cliched plot. How are you guys feeling about this first look at He-Man backshots? Moving on, Transformers fans, I'm sorry, we have hit the nail in the coffin. We is not getting a Transformers sequel. In a recent interview with the director of Transformers 1, Josh Cooley, who just announced his newest Paramount animated movie, I Eat Poop. That's right, he was given the choice between Transformers 2 and I Eat Poop, and boy said, give me a platter of that brown stuff. I apologize if you're eating watching this 3C video right now. But no, really, that is an actual movie that's coming up. I talked about it on the live stream, and there's a video on the Clips channel. When you get to understanding what the plot in the movie's about, it doesn't sound half bad. It's just so funny to think that there's an animated kids movie coming called I Eat Poop. But when he was asked about a sequel to Transformers 1, he said, I wish I had something to announce, but I do not. What I've been told is that Paramount Animation is not interested in making a sequel. That's what I was told. I wish we could. I have ideas too, so it would have been cool. We'll see what happens. You never know. And really, that's the best we could hope for as Transformers fans looking forward to a sequel one day, is that the cult following behind this film, which it does have, will someday just grow larger, bigger. Our voices will be heard, and 5-10 years down the line, the sequel finally happens because of that following. Plenty of movies have had that happen. Ma just had that happen to her, getting a second movie when who would have thought we'd ever get Ma 2? So that's really kind of our only option right now, and To me, this also just screams Paramount does not want to move forward with Transformers. We haven't heard zip about the live action sequel to Rise of the Beast where they're going to combine Transformers and G.I. Joe. Part of me feels like they're begging Michael Bay to come back because I feel like that's the only thing that would get Transformers fans rushing to the theater. And Paramount wants that Transformers money, man. But how are you guys feeling about the Transformer 1 sequel? Basically looking dead. But okay, for the remainder of this video, we will be talking about some DC updates that James Gunn has provided for us. So James Gunn decided to do an interview with Rolling Stones and was just spilling the beans. Like, they were everywhere. And what do beans make? Poop. Again, apologies if you're eating a meal while watching the video, but this late in the video, you should have been done with that meal, buddy. So we got Superman stuff, Matt Reeves Batman stuff, and a whole lot of interesting details with the DCU Batman. But kicking off with some smaller things is, one, he lets us know that Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, he's pulled a Superman legacy with this movie and has retitled it from Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow to Supergirl. Honestly, not that big of a deal, and it's fine. I guess that's just easier for them. James Gunn also reveals that he's had to cancel one of the upcoming DC movies. He said exactly, everybody wanted to make it. It was greenlit, ready to go. The screenplay wasn't ready, and I couldn't do a movie where the screenplay's not good. And really, there's only two films I can think of based on a lot of behind the scenes stuff that we've heard. It's either the Sergeant Rock movie, which, yeah, that seemed greenlit, ready to go since it had director Luca Guadagnino. Looks like it was going to start filming any week, and then boom, movie was just gone. But if it's not the Sergeant Rock movie he's talking about, I'm thinking it's The Authority. That's also one of those DC movies that's just gone completely silent with no updates whatsoever, which wouldn't be that weird if Superman didn't feature a prominent Authority character in there. And you know there's going to be some small teases for the Authority in Superman. You would think James Gunn would want to move that forward, but we'll see. Other details though on Superman that has caused some more annoying discourse amongst fans on whether James Gunn is cooking here or James Gunn cooked Superman. You let me know what side you're on. Is he lets us know that his version of Superman is gonna be a weaker version than most of us know. He said exactly, I didn't want a Superman who could punch planets. And also, we're creating a whole universe now. So what's a girl with wings gonna do in the face of that? So he's a little less powerful. Guy Gardner's pretty effing powerful. They're all pretty powerful. And look, I totally get why people are gonna get mad at that, but I kind of like what James Gunn is saying here. We know in the comics, if Superman is under the right amount of sunlight or whatnot, he can essentially sneeze a whole universe away, right? He is the guy who, like he said, can punch a planet and obliterate it. But when you're trying to create movies on this guy and have him be formed in a team with other superheroes, when you make him that ultimately powerful, it creates such a boring conversation about what's the point of a Justice League when Superman can just take care of it all. So kind of scaling Superman back to where he's more not on an even playing field, but at a more reachable playing field with a lot of other supers in the world. As long as they still treat Superman like he is the all-powerful superhero, like he is the big gun in their arsenal, I will be okay with that because that's how Superman should be treated. But like I said, people have already gotten annoyed with that and saying that this is the wrong way to handle Superman, and we'll see what the comments say down below. But now moving on to Batman. Oh, I hate to open this can of worms again, but we are back to speculating whether Matt Reeves as the Batman could join the DCU. In the interview with Rolling Stones, he was asked, you once said that the fact that Robert Pattinson's Batman is not in the universe was Matt Reeves' choice. Does that mean if it were up to you, you would have pulled that into your universe? James Gunn responded, it would be a consideration. We had to think about it. It's not like we've never discussed it. Gunn then gets asked, still a non-zero chance that Matt Reeves' Batman will get sucked into your universe? James Gunn takes a long pause and says, I would never say zero because you just never know, but it's not likely. It's not likely at all. I'll also say Batman Part 2 is not canceled. That's the other thing I hear all the time, that Batman Part 2 is canceled. It's not canceled. We don't have a script. Matt's slow. Let him take his time. Let him do what he's doing. God, people are mean. Let him do his thing, man. And as the guy who has been the annoying one saying over and over, I really think Matt Reeves' Batman could join the DCU just because I think it would be easier from a CEO perspective to have one united Batman as part of everything than two separate Batman and try and explain that to the audience. But it feels like for the past months, James Gunn just keeps saying, it's not happening. No, we got DCU, we got this. And now his wording is changing more and more where he's like, I would never say 0% chance. It's not likely, but you never know. It really sounds to me like he still hasn't made up his mind whether it's DCU Batman we're getting or Matt Reeves' Batman we're getting in his universe. All of this could be because we still don't know the perception of what people are thinking online and how they're going to feel when Superman comes out. If people hate that, well, he's not going to want to then ruin Matt Reeves' movies and the chance he has by saying that guy's already in the DCU. So maybe that could be a factor in it, but it looks like there's another reason he's still maybe considering just bringing in Robert Pattinson's Batman to his universe, because he's trying to crack the code on DCU Batman, and it's apparently the hardest thing to do for him right now. He said exactly when giving an update on Batman Brave and the Bold that Batman's my biggest issue in all of DC right now. Personally, I am working with the writer of Batman and trying to get it right because he's incredibly important to DC. He also goes on to say he doesn't just want to make a Batman movie in the DCU because Batman's the biggest DC character, and also that I need to make sure he's not exactly the same as Matt's Batman, but yet he's not a campy Batman. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in a funny, campy Batman, really. So we're dealing with that. I think I have a way in, by the way. I think I really know what it is. Just am dealing with the writer to make sure that we can make it a reality. And honestly, that must be tough because we all know when DCU Batman hits the screen, if there ends up being two different ones, he's going to be the fantastical one. He's going to be the one with more supernatural villains, with maybe more stretching the imagination of what's possible. But we don't want to fall into Schumacher or Adam West Batman where they're too campy, too jokey. He still wants to make it a serious Batman that has been done in like the Nolan movies or Matt Reeves' films. Honestly, to me, it sounds like he's describing Arkham Batman from the video games, because that's a fantastical Batman that is still pretty serious and just horrified Batman. But I guess having two very serious and dark Batman at the same time doesn't feel on the surface different enough. That seems to be the only reason James Gunn is still thinking about maybe he does just let Robert Pattinson in, because it's easier for him. It's already an established fan base proven Batman. He can just tweak some stuff to make him fit in the DCU, because looking like trying to make one from scratch is becoming real difficult, where he's saying it's the biggest problem he has in the DCU right now. But I toss it off to you guys. How do you feel about Batman being the biggest issue of the DC universe right now, and what do you think ends up happening? Robert Pattinson joins in, or we get the two separate universes? Anyways, guys, that is all the movie news we currently have going on right now. I want to thank so much for taking time my day to watch me talk some movie news. Don't be forgetting to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.